Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Rohith IG show. We have our special guest here, Johnathan Finney. So a little bit of background about him. He went to undergrad at University of North Carolina, moved to Australia after that, filmed at Talbudger Road that we will see here. And he's in New York writing another movie called Modernity. So I'll let him introduce himself here really quickly.
I'm Johnathan Finney, director of Talbudger Road, which is an 18-minute Australian drama. Talbudger Road is about a troubled hitchhiker who grapples with the imminence of leaving a refuge that he's found in a mother and her son amongst a harrowing valley.
I need to tell you what's brave. Okay.
What was he like?
Well, he was perfect.
Very well filmed. How long did that take you to film?
We filmed only over 4 days, but for the actual film itself, it was a year and a half process from development all the way to finishing post-production. So it was a really long stretch because we had months of developing and writing. I worked with a co-writer on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And we filmed and shot on the Gold Coast. And then I brought the footage to Melbourne, Australia. And our post-production took about another year there. So it was quite a process all in all.
Okay, so what would you say was maybe the toughest obstacle as far as like making this film? Was it the post-production or was it the writing that you had to do beforehand? What exactly would you say was the toughest part, the entire process?
I'd say the toughest part was definitely the shoot, because the shoot, you're working in very specific constraints, and we took some level of ambition in working with an underwater cinematographer for the first time. So we had a separate DP for these underwater shots, and that proved to be logistically challenging in itself. We had me out there in the ocean with the actors and our underwater DP Simon treading water with our red camera and housing. And that proved to be logistically challenging, but these days were really, really long, extremely hot, at the height of, the Australian summer. And then we had the aftermath of a monsoon that spilled out this incessant rain for the fourth day. So we were working a lot throughout rain as well. But we got some really, really great rain footage, I think, as a result.
Definitely saw that rain scene in the movie, which was
100%,
definitely interesting. I think it definitely added to the whole plot of the movie.
So now, how did you find these actors? And like, what if you don't mind me asking, what was like the budget of the film, and where did your biggest expenses go?
Yeah, as far as our budget, it was just over $5K USD.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that's something like 3.5, almost 4 Australian dollars. But we did that through 2 separate fundraising campaigns, one for the production and then a separate one for the post-production. Once we had created a teaser, we used that to springboard that second fundraising campaign. Most of that money went to, for the production itself, that's going to lens rentals, flights. We flew up Jacob, our DP from Melbourne, Mitch, our lead from Sydney. People were coming down from Brisbane and Sunshine Coast, so we compensated them. And then, of course, the money's going to foods, it's going to costumes, like getting wetsuits, things like that. And then post-production, for the color, for the edits, for the sound design, sound mix, everything like that. As far as where we got our actors, so we have Mitchell Burke, who plays Kyle, the lead. He's the hitchhiker in the film. We got him. There's this database where I did a casting call that essentially sends out this casting call to all of the major agencies all over Australia. So then those agents will take who is in their repertoire, who they represent, that matches that description that we're looking for, and then they'll send us self-tapes using sides that I provided. So we ended up getting this influx of video auditions, and then I sifted through them and I found Mitch, and right away I was like, this guy's our lead. Yeah, and then as for Dane Brady, who plays Lucky, we got him through this outside agency similar to Backstage, where people are sort of bypassing the agent process. And we got him through a place called Star Now. And then Rachel Forsyth, who plays his mom in the film, she was from a previous film that Robbie, my co-producer, worked on with her.
Okay. And really quickly, your role in this film was a director, right? Okay.
Yeah. I was the director, and then I was the co-writer and then co-producer as well.
Okay.
As far as the producerial role goes on set, for those 4 days of production, I was primarily the director, and then I was the primary producer when I took the footage down to Melbourne, because my producer was based in Brisbane.
I mean, filming with COVID there, and I mean, COVID's been getting pretty bad throughout these couple of years. How was that impactful for your film? Was that did it make it challenging?
Luckily, we finished and had our premiere in December of 2019, about 3 months before COVID. So we finished the film. Of course, it really changed festival prospects, because that year festivals just went all online, or were canceled entirely, or moved, or postponed, or pushed.
You have this theme of, like, I guess, you have individualism, and then the idea of human connection. And could you speak a little bit about what was your inspiration? Did you get that from your own personal experiences, or was that from something you watched? What was your inspiration for that idea of, really emphasizing human connection, family, and so forth?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is personal experiences. And I like this idea of taking someone that's very estranged from this, from typical social circles or a typical geographical landscape, and then putting him completely isolated in a new environment, and then having this human connection come through in unexpected ways, through unexpected people in an unexpected place. When I first moved to Australia, I definitely did my fair share of backpacking and hitchhiking, and sleeping in my friend's SUV and in tents and things like that. So I was fascinated with this whole culture that we're not really we don't really have that much access to here in the States. It was something that was quite specific to Australia, because that's this travel hub that people fly into, specifically a huge demographic in their 20s, and they live as backpackers for years, sometimes on end. And it was something I just found fascinating, and I wanted to explore that. And I like this idea of taking this stock character type, this hitchhiker, something that we've seen so many times before on screen, and really modernizing that. And, so we're not going to give this guy the big bushy beard wearing a flannel. We're going to make him look like a dude in his 20s who's figuring life out. And what Mitch, who plays Kyle, what he and I came up with is almost just more a metalcore version of a backpacker, and I think it works in the film.
Yeah. Definitely thought that, it was interesting how you guys portrayed the hitchhiker, and definitely saw that, he had this dilemma between, what he was doing and then like what he was doing in the past. I think we could, if all the audiences who are going to eventually watch, they can see that dichotomy there with him. And I think that made the story very interesting.